Chundria, Chundria, it's Chundria Show.
Get to know Asha Tarry, a licensed psychotherapist, life coach, and author of Adulting as a Millennial, the guide to everything your parents didn't teach you.
It's another great day at the Chundria Show, and I am so excited to feature Asha Tarry on the Chundria Show today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you. Well, let's dive right on in. You're an author, award-winning community mental health advocate, psychotherapist, and certified life coach. You go, girl. What sparked your affinity for helping other people become the best versions of themselves?
One, having seen my own life transform during the time that I think coaching was still fairly new to people, and manifesting abundance most of my life, I wanted to really see other people do the same.
Oh, that's awesome. Which career did you start first?
I started as a mental health professional, which I still am. So I'm primarily a psychotherapist, which is what people know me for. But I've also been doing coaching for a handful of years, and I've worked internationally, which I am currently doing with clients now. I have some clients in Africa, South Africa, and the UK. And then the author came about just this year when I wrote my book, Adulting as a Millennial.
Let's talk about it. What was your inspiration for writing that book, Adulting as a Millennial, a guide to everything your parents didn't teach you? Why did you choose millennials to speak to in the book?
It's primarily the group that I serve. So maybe 98% of my clientele are millennials. And I often get millennials who follow me on social media or DM me for mentorship. And I just don't have the time to do a lot of one-on-one mentoring. So I wanted to create something that was long-lasting as a part of my legacy that would touch people around the world. And so far it has. My book is now on Amazon and Amazon Kindle. It recently landed in Africa. It's also in the UK. And I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do, which is help guide millennials through this world that we're living in, which I think they just didn't get enough of that growing up. I don't think they got enough mentoring or guidance in the way that I remembered getting it very naturally. And so what I see in my work as a therapist, for example, are a lot of millennials who are suffering with imposter syndrome, who have very lackluster relationships, who aren't great at networking. They feel a lot of anxiety too. And I use my life in this book as an anecdote on many levels to show people just how you can be more practical and mindful, how you can learn things that maybe don't come necessarily from your parents, but may come from others, and including your own experiences. And then how to actually manifest abundance by creating a mindset around transformational thinking and expectancy. And so this book does that.
Wow. That's amazing. And I know that, I love that you speak specifically to millennials, and those are a lot of subjects that, I think we don't think about that they go through. Millennials.
Yeah, they're the fastest growing adult population. They're change makers. They're actively involved in politics. They're brave and bold, but there's some gaps in terms of their ability to connect the dots. And so that's where this book comes in, and the work that I'm doing in my coaching programs come in, because I think there's a lot of distance between what meaningful life looks like to them and how to stay connected to their dreams and not give up hope so easily. And I wanted to be able to show them that there are a lot of things that will happen that are beyond your control, but staying tenacious is really important. And having mindful action and what that actually looks like, because I'm also a mindfulness practitioner. So doing this work in the way that I think would be really useful for them, but also for people who are not millennials, because there are a lot of people who are in other age groups that start and don't finish things, that lack integrity, that don't know how to persevere when things get hard. And so this book is really for everyone, but primarily that fastest growing population of people that are unfortunately dealing with the most challenges right now in terms of underemployment, high student loan debt, returning back to their parents' home after college and staying there a lot longer than other generations did. And so they need some real navigational tools, and this book does that for them.
And so what do you hope that they'll walk away with after reading your book?
A couple of things. One, how to stay committed to their commitments. That's one of the goals in the book. how to be investigative over their feelings, into their feelings. So instead of looking at your feelings as facts, look at them as feedback. What should you learn about what you feel? What should you notice about what you feel? How you should not get stuck in your feelings. I also want them to understand the importance of utilizing relationships to get them through their lives, whether it's through helping them to become more mentally fit or helping them to reach the next level in their career. Unfortunately, African Americans are one of the fastest growing groups in terms of economic empowerment, but the smallest group of people to have sponsors and mentorship when it comes to business. And my new coaching program is actually going to coach and then lend itself to mentoring young millennials because they don't get that in corporate jobs, they don't get that in independent structures. And so I want to be able to help them to understand the importance and power of building strong, sustainable relationships as well.
I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I know that, you know, you're definitely making a difference in the lives of young people. And I know you'll continue to do so with your book.
Thank you so much.
Now, COVID-19 has become a daunting health crisis that has impacted people physically, emotionally, and financially. What early symptoms can people look for to identify depression through this?
So a couple of things I think people should walk away from this conversation knowing about COVID and depression is that as a mental health provider primarily, there are things that we're going to see now that we didn't see pre-COVID. And some people have a history of depression, and so situations can exacerbate those symptoms. But I would say that during this time, what we're probably going to see post-COVID is a lot more PTSD. So depression looks more like a lack of interest in doing pleasurable things, and also having interruption in your sleep and your eating patterns. So you may notice that you may eat the same amount of food, but you could be gaining or losing weight. You may notice that you could go to bed at the same time, but it's difficult to actually get restful sleep. So you could wake up more tired than usual. And so if you lose pleasure in doing things and the things that you used to do no longer give you interest, then for at least a 2-week period, with that consistency, you may see some signs of depression early onset or a depressive episode if you have a depression history. It may also affect your sex life in terms of your drive or motivation for sex. It could go down. You may notice that you feel a little bit more lethargic than usual. So if you wake up after 8 or 10 hours of sleep, you still could feel very tired. You move through the day maybe a little bit slower than usual. You don't necessarily have an interest in socializing or engaging with others. And if you're working or raising a family, you may also notice things in your life that are different, such as making more mistakes, taking longer to finish tasks, not necessarily showing any change in your facial expression where you could appear more sad than usual. So during these times, if those things are going on, they could be situational, and that's, as a practitioner, what we would look at. Pre-COVID, what were your lifestyle habits? What practices did you have? What kind of hobbies, etc. And then during COVID, what's going on now? So it's going to be hard to determine whether or not this is a clinical depression if someone is experiencing these symptoms now because of the situations that we're in, working from home, schooling from home, or if it's an actual depressive episode, a major depressive episode.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually, because you may not know, and it could be easy where those things are happening and you're not really taking into account. If you're losing. Get to know Glennae Davis. She's a registered nurse and founder of RX for Life. She and I discuss her book, Bias and Burnout, 10 Power Moves for Healthcare Workplace Equity. I am so excited to feature Glennae Davis on the Chundria Show. Welcome to the show, my dear.
Thank you so much. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Of course. You're a registered nurse, right?
Yes.
How long have you had an affinity for helping other people be well and become the best versions of themselves?
Wow. That's a loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
People say who are entrepreneurs, they'll say something like, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I was selling lemonade. Well, I naturally have been taking care of people my entire life. And helping people to become the best versions of themselves is just something that is just innate within me. And I get an opportunity with my nursing license to do just that.
Oh, amazing. So you're in LA. Where are you originally? You said you were born and raised in Los Angeles?
I was born and raised in Los Angeles. Just during a short time in my life, I went to Fort Worth, Texas when I was like 19 through the age of 27. And then I came back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to get out a little bit and you came back home to Cali. I love it.
I ran back home.
I hear that. Now, as the founder of RX for Life, you help your clients understand and overcome the discriminatory challenges faced in the workplace, often related to stress. Tell me about it. When and why did you launch RX for Life?
Well, you know, ain't no place like the workplace that'll drive a sister crazy, right? No place. But I launched RX for Life, Your Prescription for Life, just this year, spring 2020, before COVID was a thing, you know, just kind of right in that thing. And then before our civil unrest and the Black Lives Matter movements. And I just thought, wow, how all of this just came to this timely moment of what I experienced just years ago between the years of 2012 and 2016. So just during all of that time, I was just creating this platform as a direct result of institutional racism that I was facing within a major US hospital. So I decided to, you know, bring this to the forefront because I know firsthand how bad institutional racism will affect our mental health, our physical health, and our financial health.
So you set out so in what capacity do you help? Is it more of clinical therapy? Is it?
Oh, it's education. So what a lot of people don't know, and because this is such a new branding, a lot of people do not know that we have, as US citizens, as employees, we have a right to what is called the least invasive treatment first, which means that you don't have to take a prescription. You can take some time, you can get some education so that you can find out what's your best direction, how to strategize and go through what it is that you are going through on a personal level in the workplace and come out whole, healthy, right? And advantaged. But because of the way the system is set up, institutional racism, when I experienced these years of systemic employment discrimination, those rights were taken away from me. And just because somebody want to take away your rights don't mean you have to give them away. It just means that you're going to be in a little battle.
Absolutely. Tell me about your inspiration for your second book. It's Bias and Burnout, 10 Power Moves for Healthcare Workplace Equity 2.
Okay. Oh, it's just not equity 2. It's just bias and burnout.
Typo on my end. I'll ask again.
It's okay.
Tell me about your inspiration for your second book, Bias and Burnout, 10 Power Moves for Healthcare Workplace Equity.
Oh, yeah. So my inspiration for that was when I sat down in winter of 2019 through spring to pen these words and inspiration about what we as the U.S. healthcare workforce, particularly nurses, and even more particular African-American women, because African-American women file complaints of discrimination with the federal government called the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission more than anyone else. And on record, there's approximately about 100,000 people who file complaints of discrimination with the feds. That's not including the people who may do it within their jobs or don't speak up and say anything at all, but just internalize that violence within and end up at a doctor's office or therapy, trying to figure out what else can they do, but never really having that information to be able to do something. Mm-hmm. So I created Bias and Burnout so that I can help eliminate those mental illnesses and these stress chronic diseases that come from not being able to appropriately handle conflict in the workplace.
I think it's so key. It's so important. I mean, I think that, you know, we take so much in, especially if you have a job that is stressful, you do what you have to do for that dollar.
Right.
And I think that a lot of us don't think about over time how it weighs down on you, how it plays a part in your mental. I've experienced burnout on jobs before. You don't really see it coming. It's like you
Right.
wake up and you're just like, I'm tired of this place.
Right. Right. But there are very subtle clues that do happen. And so getting a little bit of knowledge and understanding how to redefine rethink what stress is and redefine our role in the workplace to see employment as empowerment so that you can transition through it. Because for many of us, our job is not the end of our life. Like, we're not supposed to grow old and die in the workplace. Some of us, yes, because some of us are not born to be entrepreneurs, but sometimes pressure happens that opens that seed within us to feed other people, right? And I think a lot of that is missed in the workplace because we work for a paycheck instead of purpose.
I agree with that. So you said something about there being subtle clues. What are some subtle clues where burnout is on the way? You may not think that you're experiencing burnout, that you're as severely stressed on your job as you may are. What are some of those clues?
So you can find yourself, talking about events at work, but never really coming up to a solution. And then these things just start having repetitions in your mind. And, maybe your stomach is hurting, or you going to the doctor and you're having some hair loss, or, maybe acne is happening. You're not eating, or you're having constipation. So with all stress, even discrimination on the job, because discrimination is chronic stress, which the whole world is seeing how it affects African Americans at a higher rate. And then you can understand why we have such huge health disparities. Disease does not just occur, neither does health. So there are things that you have to do and pay attention to. Aches and pains, people saying things to you. Are you willing to confront at work? Or are you just like, no, I'm not going to say anything because I don't like conflict? So even saying things like, I don't like conflict, and talking to your doctor are subtle clues that something is about to go down. I think once we realize that conflict is not a negative word, conflict is actually a positive word, to have healthy conversations, because we know that opposition brings opportunity, and opportunity is great for everyone.
We need more people that are willing to stand up not only for themselves, but I love that you're standing up for other people and you're igniting that passion and opportunity for people to be better.
Get to know Laura Frecon. She's an Emmy-nominated costume designer and co-founder of Source Digital.
Okay, well, Laura Frecon, I'm excited to welcome you to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much. Now, as a professional with an incredible career as a costume designer for TV and film, how has life in quarantine been for you?
It's been interesting. As I said to you just a little bit ago, I was actually in New York working on a project. I'd been there since October, and March 13th, we got told, go home, we'll probably shut down for 2 weeks. And here we are 4 months later almost, and we still haven't been able to go back. Luckily, we are starting slowly to start getting all of the crew tested and starting slowly to go back. Hopefully I'll be back in about 2 weeks, but my week completely shut down. So it was interesting.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's still unbelievable. Even many months later, it's still unbelievable that this is our norm right now. And especially for you as a professional and professional designer, that's at the pulse of TV and film. So for everything to be shut down, my heart goes out to you and, professionals like yourself that are, really working to figure things out, because that's who you are, that's your livelihood, that's how you make your money, So, stay encouraged during this entire time. I know it can be a challenge.
Just stay together and
happy thoughts, positive vibes. You're the co-founder of Source Digital, a technology that allows content creators, owners, brands, and retailers to seamlessly engage with viewers across any device or screen in real time, introducing a new era of contextual commerce and advertising. Amazing! What was your inspiration for this brilliant idea?
Well, honestly, it's my work as a costume designer. I constantly get requests from viewers, fans of the show, saying, you know, oh, I'm a huge fan of, I'm a collector of all things Sylvester Stallone, and I'll pay any amount of money for the special shorts that he wore in this show. Or my favorite story is on True Blood, an oncologist reached out to us, and she had a patient who was a younger person, and they were a huge fan of Sookie and True Blood. And there was this pink sweatshirt that the oncologist wanted to get for the patient. And so she reached out to us, and all of these requests kept coming through, and I thought, why? There isn't this information out there. Nobody at the time was doing anything where you could just find out exactly where this shirt came from. And then the real light bulb moment was one night I was filming Men in Black 3. I came home from work, and Shazam had just come out, and I was sitting on the couch watching Gossip Girl. I was in love with this dress, and I went to Shazam it, and I thought, we can't do that right now. Nobody's doing that. And so I reached out to Hank, my brother, and I said, I have this idea. I don't know if it'll work, but what are your thoughts? And he said, don't tell anybody, and yes, let's build this. So that's basically the light bulb moment.
Now, you got your brother's help with this brilliant idea. Why did you trust him with it? Why did you go to him? Does he have a background in tech or, okay.
Yes, Hank, my brother Hank, has been in the technology industry since the very beginning. Back when the .com boom was happening, he, in fact, we still joke about it. He came home and said, you know, there's going to be this thing that one day you're going to be able to do your email on the phone and talk and friends and see each other. And we were like, yeah, right, you know, because that's when everybody still had flip phones and stuff. And look where we are today. So I trust
He said it many years ago.
you know, late night, you know,
with the LG flip phone.
So he had, you know, he had built and sold a company, and I just thought, if I can trust him, he knows always what the future of technology is.
Okay.
So I went with him, and he has such an amazing team that he works with, and there you go.
So you have this idea, brother says, hush, hush, let's build it together. So you all enter into this amazing brother-sister partnership which I just adore. Present day, there's an entire team for Source Digital. How is it working with everybody?
Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of our team. We have people that are just such experts in their industry, have so many achievements and accomplishments. Everybody's really joined when we were still bootstrapping. You know, Michael Phillips is an Academy Award winner for his technology that he developed with Avid, and he joined us from the very, very beginning. We have so many people like that have just come over because they believe in the product. And so each day we just keep growing and growing with these really heavy hitters, and I'm very proud of everybody.
It sounds like a testament also to the workmanship that you have and your brother Hank have. It sounds like a testament because, you know, it's the product, but it's also the people behind the product. So it's like I'm supporting Laura, I'm supporting Hank because I believe in their workmanship, and I believe that whatever ideas they come up with, that, you know, they're gonna see it through. And, you know, we all like that. We all want to be a part of something that is, you know, you're visionaries. I think it's incredible. Why is this technology so viable in 2020, and who is Source Digital's ideal client?
Well, I mean, just in this post-COVID world that we're now in, it's more important than ever. I cannot believe of this horrible thing that's happening, but this is really, now the time is crucial for Source. people want a connection. We're spending our days staring at a computer screen, staring at technology. We can't go shopping anymore and feel the clothes or smell the perfume. And so what Source does, it brings this connection of that experience. Let's say you went to a surf shop and you touched a surfboard and you're like, oh, I want to go surfing. Now you can be watching a video of some guy surfing or some woman surfing, and you can say, oh, what's that surfboard? Or where are they? I want to book my next vacation there. And so now you're getting these experiences, this connection to your content that you never had before. And it's really important because we're not getting that with each other right now, you know? So it's nice to have these activations and learn where your things are coming from, dive deep into the information behind the story. All of that is why I think it's so critical. And the people that would really benefit from our technology are advertisers, brands, content creators, anybody who can't really, they're suffering right now because people can't go to stores, they can't, do the one-on-one, so you can get these experiences from our technology.
Incredible. Are you proud of yourself? Because I'm proud of you.
Yes, it's been we started this journey a long time ago, and we were really almost too far ahead of the curve in the beginning because the tech, it just hadn't, now everybody's caught up to it. Now people are like, oh my gosh, we want this seamless advertising to happen. People don't want to be things shoved in their face anymore. They want it like when they want it. Your beautiful blouse. Now, if you were watching a show, instead of having some ad thrown in your face, you could be like, oh, I love that blouse, and find the information for getting it, shop it, buy it, whatever.
Right. That's amazing. And I think that, technology has given us that instant gratification that, we've come to grow and love, and we expect it now. And so I love that you're taking it a step up through your company, and, you're giving more. Aside from success in business and technology, your list of credits are incredible. I read that you created costumes for some of the most legendary characters on TV shows and feature films, such as True Blood, which you mentioned, How to Get Away with Murder, Men in Black 3, Nostalgia, Kong Skull Island, Dinner for Schmucks. And you also were a part of the Emmy-Nominated costume design team for Mad Men. What are some of your own proudest achievements as a costume designer?
Well, I really, again, attribute most of our achievements to the team that I work with, the teams that I work with. I work with some of the hardest working people in the industry who just go above and beyond. The hours they work is insane. The dedication to their craft is amazing. In terms of achievements, it's meeting these amazing designers and wardrobe supervisors and costumers along the way. Right now, I'm working on a really cool project. I can't wait to get back to it. This is a huge achievement. It's a show I really think is going to be fun and cool. It's called Inventing Anna, and it's going to be, it's a Shondaland production, and it'll be on Netflix when we finally get back to it. But yeah, the achievements really come just in the gratification of being able to work with these amazing people. That's really it.